Hey guys, I'm going out on a hike. It's a nice sunny day in southern Michigan. Pretty cold, but I figured I'd get back in here and check out an old log cabin from the early 1900s. This was an off-grid log cabin. It had its own source of power right out here in the woods. Back in a time where southern Michigan was still pretty well undeveloped, and this area I live was kind of considered up north and out in the boonies still. There wasn't a lot of power lines or anything like that around here, so they brought in their own power and everything. Built a big log cabin out of cedar logs, so we'll get back in here and I'll let you check it out. Maybe we'll see a couple other things along the way too. A little bit of Michigan history. I don't know if you guys can see it, but look right off in the distance there, there's a horizontal, perfectly smooth object. It just looks unnatural. I'm not sure what that is yet, but I'm going to head over there and check it out. I think we're getting close. Here's part of an old fence that's all but buried and collapsed in by trees and branches falling on it. Runs all the way down through here, all the way up and all the way around that little structure in the center of their screen. So here's that little structure. Now I thought this was the swimming pool. Somebody built a little set of stairs going down out of some old branches. As you can see, that's a cement wall. Let me turn you around here. Sorry about that. Little water inlets or outlets, one of the two. Right in the middle of the woods. Now this is all part of the Edsel Ford estate, which was abandoned essentially and turned into a park. Everything grew up. Most of the structures have burned down or collapsed over time, but some of these still remain despite nature. You can still see the traces of them anyway. I don't know if this was just a small kiddie pool or what. But we'll keep heading on down and see what else we find. Now you should be able to see that small swimming pool behind me. Now we're coming up on the fence again. And there's even a little gate out in the middle of the woods. I guess I better use the gate. Somebody left the barn door open. So, what's this? This is the old swimming pool. They went ahead and put a fence around it. Looks like there's a way to get in right over there. Give you an idea of just how old this place is. Here's that little fence. There's my water bottle, which is over a foot tall. And there's the level of the dirt from all the years of leaves and stuff that have built up on the other side of this fence since it's been in use. That's a lot of years of leaves right there. Over a foot thick of dirt. All these trees have fell. It's kind of hard to get through here. Right down in there. I'm assuming this pool was probably about 20 feet deep or so. There's the deep end. Here's the shallow end. And keep in mind, this was off-grid, this whole estate. It was powered by underground generators that were hid underground to prevent the noise from disturbing their peace or whatever. But there's a big three-tiered wall right there, right out in the middle of the woods. And there even used to be a tennis court over here somewhere, which I've yet to find. I showed this in another video, but now that I got this new camera, I figured I'd give it another shot. There's some old paved stones that are all but buried over by the years of leaves and stuff. Now, I'm not sure what that used to be. I don't know if that was a sunbathing area because it's got a southern exposure. Or maybe there was a little like cascading waterfall effect, because there's water outlets on that too, and there was underground water pumps and generators that powered this whole area. The pool, the tennis court, the estate at the top of the hill, or Edsel Ford's retreat. We'll head up to the top of that hill and check it out, and I'll show you guys that log cabin too. It's a big hill to climb up, for around here anyway. We're getting up. See the foundation. Here. That's a nice big hill right there. Pretty much up above everything. That swimming pool is right down at the bottom of that hill. Back when this was built, you could stand here and see the swimming pool and the tennis court and everything else. Now it's just woods. An old window to the basement or cellar or something. This was the Ford's cabin. Pretty big for a cabin, but this is it. Now there's another cabin that's still standing, I'll show you that. But it was originally intended to be the place where the chauffeur lived. But he ended up staying here with the Fords. This was still standing just up until, I think, back in the 80s or 90s. And then either somebody vandalized it with fire or it burnt down by some means. And you can see where it burned. Old charred remains. And what's interesting, I thought, with this is the way they attach the wood of the structure to the cement with a dovetail. I thought that was pretty interesting. Basically a dovetail joint to hold that piece of wood in there so they could build onto that cement. Here's one of the old fireplaces. Pretty interesting though, you can see all the old foundation walls for the individual rooms. Not a small fireplace. I can fit right inside of it. I can still see part of the flue up here. And the damper. Looks like the damper's still there. Yep, it sure is. That right there in the center is the steel damper that was in here. This is basically the Ford's retreat. They'd bring a lot of famous people here and entertain them. I think Charles Lindbergh, a few other people. The old entryway, little archway. Sorry about that. Welcome, Mr. Lindbergh. It's nice to have you here. Well, I find this stuff really interesting. A little circular driveway. And off in the distance, you might be able to make out the roof of the cabin and the chimney. This is it. And I don't know about you, but the thing that impressed me most about this cabin is it's made entirely out of cedar logs. These cedar logs were brought in from the Upper Peninsula, and look at the size of some of these. Now these are big for around here, so if you live out west, it's probably not going to impress you very much. But look at that. That's close to 2 feet in diameter right there. Now I'm sure this chinking has been replaced, but that just seems pretty impressive to me. Look at those growth rings. That's an old tree. Old and dead now, but she's definitely got some wear. And I believe that's a cedar shake roof too. Those aren't asphalt shingles. Those are wood. I would assume they're cedar. Chimney. Now the rocks that were used to make that chimney, they're not local. They were brought in from, I think they were brought in from some other country actually. Some type of flagstone. Go ahead and head out here, let you get a better view of it. Try and keep you from facing directly at the sun because it kind of shades out the image. We'll go ahead and head around to the back side too and check it out. Little entryway right here. Let's just go ahead and walk right on. More cedar. Little icicles. I believe this was called the carriage house, but it's essentially just a log cabin, and that's where the Ford cars were supposed to be stored, and also the caretaker, chauffeur, he was supposed to live here too. But I guess this ended up being a playhouse for the Edsel Ford's kids, William Clay and all the other ones. Pretty big part of history in Michigan, though, the Motor City. I mean, cars are kind of what built this country in a way. Production cars. I mean, that's really, you know, that's the reason we all have it so good right now, even though we think we have it so hard. My folks grew up in the Depression back in the 30s and 40s and going way back in U.S. history. And they all think we got it pretty easy right now, regardless of whatever's going on with the world today. There you go. There's the off-grid log cabin I was taking you to see. I'm going to keep on hiking. And but that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I'd go inside and show you around, but it's all boarded up because you know, they're trying somewhat to preserve it, keep people from getting in there and vandalizing it. I'll show you one other thing. See those copper nails with copper wire? I was wondering what that was. I thought it was maybe the way they grounded this place, but it turns out they put this wire with the copper nails to hold this cedar bark on to keep it from deteriorating, and they would keep pulling the old cedar bark off as it rotted and replacing it with fresh cedar bark. I thought that was kind of odd. But it runs all the way around every one of these logs. And that's just to hold that bark on there. Anyway, that's it. There's the off-grid log cabin. I would show you the underground generator, but it's all boarded up now and I can't get in there. But I did do another video on this Haven Hill estate, and if you search my videos you should be able to find it if you want to take a look, and I show that generator room in that video. I'm getting ready to head on out of here. I guess I'll take the stairs this time. Here's one of those generator rooms, but it's all boarded up. You can't get in there now. It's built right into the side of the hill. There's something else interesting up here I haven't seen yet. I'll take you over there and show you it. Hold on. Apologize for that. I had to switch hands again. This is. Looks like some kind of a trough that ends right down there. It's maybe 30 feet long, 40 feet long. And it's got these removable concrete covers. And you can see here, this one's been removed. And it's got a piece of steel rebar for a handle. I have no idea what that would be. If anybody knows, you know, let me know. I haven't seen anything or heard anything about this. One lone A couple fruit trees here. Don't know if those would have any significance. And it's sort of a very fine, pebbly gravel. Maybe this is where the tennis court was. Doesn't really look big enough for a tennis court though. And it's all fenced in. Maybe that was a feeding trough. Here's the fence. I'll get you guys right down there. I can't get down there to look in, but I can put the camera down there to look in. Down this way. I always wonder what this old stuff is. Anyway, thanks for watching, and thanks for all the comments and support.